It's good to be back.
We're back.
We are back.
Yes, the rumors are true. The 6-0
The
podcast,
room
after taking a year off, has returned.
only 11 months, but still, we're
Eh,
finally back. And it brings me with tremendous honor to say for the first time in 11 months, welcome back to another episode of the Six-0 podcast. I am your host, Walker. I am 1/18th of the Six-0 podcast. You know why? Because we have 18 subscribers. We are all part of the Six-0 podcast. And you know what that also means is that all 18 of us are what make the Six-0 podcast what it is. And what it is the second or third best podcast in the Bridal Ridge subdivision in Forsyth County.
let's go.
Pause for a
We're
round of
going for
applause.
one.
Yes.
We're going for
Yeah.
one.
Yeah. Shout out Low Blow. We're chasing you. But I can't even see these glasses. They're polarized. I can't see my screen. Now I can. Okay. Sorry. We're
Yes,
back.
yes.
As you can see by my background, what we're doing today, we're doing a little mock draft. It's my favorite time of the year, my favorite episode of the year. And if we don't do another episode the entire year, if we say we're back and we're not actually back, we're gonna do this episode anyway. So this is my favorite one.
Yes, yeah. Fun fact, I think the first episode we ever did was a mock draft a couple years
Maybe so,
ago.
maybe so. I
So
couldn't tell you.
go full circle. So,
But
but the main reason why we're back is because I noticed every single year the pod has been a thing. UGA's won the national championship. We stopped doing the pod last year. UGA didn't win. So if they win this year, we might have to do it like every year.
coincidence? I think not.
No, I think we hold the power. So maybe Kirby's got to put us on the staff or something to just strictly do our podcast. If he pays us, hey, I'll do it every single time.
I do
Honestly,
want
if
to
he
take a
didn't
quick
pay us,
second.
I'll do it every single time.
Oh yeah, I would too. I do want to take a quick second to just address the fans. And I have to directly say, I apologize. That's my official apology. But I mean, we've been around. I mean, the people have been knocking at the door. The paparazzi, they've been asking, where is the 6-0 podcast? Where are Jordan and Walker? Right? We've been dodging them. We've been living in a cave. We've been wearing sunglasses. We've been hoods, hats every time we go outside because people keep asking, where is the 6-0 podcast? When is the 6-0 podcast? And what I say to that is, I'm back. We're back and we're ready to go.
Sure. Yes,
I'm
sir.
putting the
I'm
glasses
excited.
back on, even though I cannot see my computer screen. It's rainbow colors right now, but that's okay because I absolutely cannot see the haters either. So let's get started.
Let's do it. Yeah, so little warning right here is, you know, this is what we think's gonna happen, not what we would do. Got to put the trigger warning out there. This what
We could
we
we could do a
this
little of both
well, a
if we
little
want.
both, but you know what I mean. Like, if I don't want to say anything, but if we think one, JJ McCarthy, we don't think we're not going to put
Yeah,
this
I
on
think
two.
for sure. Okay, yeah, you're
Yeah,
right. Okay,
and yeah,
yes. So the
so
disclaimers, this is what we think. I don't want to say should happen, but we're trying to be predictive best as possible. Now, I'll another disclaimer, it's almost impossible to predict these trades, right? So
yeah,
if we put a trade in here, we're going to try our best. Can't flame us for getting these wrong. Let's be real. And honestly, if we get a position right and we don't get the right player,
close
know what
enough.
I mean? Like if we say these guys are taking a tackle and then they take one tackle and I don't know, the everyone's like, "Oh, you guessed the wrong tackle." I'm like, "Oh, how do I know their preferences?" Anyway,
Not to
that's
mention we're
cool.
still like
And
what? We're
also,
still like a few days away, and the Commanders don't even
yes.
know who they're picking yet.
Yeah,
So
that's also yeah. So that's also important. I want to point out it is currently at the time of recording, it is 10:48 on Sunday morning, 420.
yes, sir.
Oh, is that why you're up early? Anyway,
Now,
um, we're recording Sunday morning. The draft is on Thursday, so we're a couple days out. Sometimes this information, leaks or it will change, maybe even drastically. Remember the Baker Mayfield draft where everyone thought he was going like 20th, and then like the day before the draft, it was like he's going one, and I was like,
mhm.
"There's no way," and then he went one. So I don't know. Information changes as of right now, and I don't want to say foreshadowing, but I'm going a little bit deeper. But as of right now, we've just gotten news on Twitter apparently that the Jane Daniels situation, or something about his visit in Washington hasn't gone well, and that probably will affect my pick today. But
Yeah,
we're going too far. Pick number one is Caleb Williams. I'm sorry to take that from you, Jordan, but we don't even need to talk about it. The pick number one's Caleb. It has been Caleb the entire time. I've been saying it since I've been saying it since like well before, like when they still had Justin in the early spring. I was like, this, it's just too easy. Like it's a layup. That's the pick. I heard he only had one visit, and it was to the Bears. And I don't know. There's no debate here. So
yeah,
the debate
and
starts at pick two.
yeah, my thing with that is like this isn't even their pick. They fleeced the Panthers last year. Justin, that was supposed to be his preview year. They went and go get DJ Moore. Still didn't do nothing. So, and obviously just given the trade value of, nobody really wanted him, kind of showed what the rest of the league thought about Fields as well. So it's too obvious. You have to. I mean, it's right there. You shouldn't even have this pick in the first place, given the season that just happened. But yeah, this is supposed to be one of the best quarterback prospects in a while. So it's right in your lap. You gotta take it. Yeah, going to
And I
two.
think it's one of those
You
things
know,
people are like, the Justin versus, I guess it's over already, but people were debating the Justin versus Caleb. They just took him in the first round a couple of years ago. And I just, like I said, I was on the train the whole time that this pick had to be Caleb Williams. No loyalty. I'm sorry. You're building something. You think you're building something with Justin. To me, he had not shown enough to warrant not taking Caleb
yeah,
with this pick, if that makes sense. Like you
yeah,
have a
and
chance. If you have a chance to roll the dice again with people throw around the term generational a lot. I don't necessarily think Caleb is generational. That's a big word because that means like once in a generation. Like to me, Andrew Luck is
yeah, I was
generational.
just about to
Like
say
it
Andrew
is
Luck.
one guy every decade or 20 years or something that's like that. But
That's
I
gonna
do
be good no
think,
matter
yeah,
where he goes. Yeah,
exactly. But anyway, yeah, like I said, we've already talked about this pick too much. This pick is
yeah,
Caleb.
for real. Yeah,
Literally.
it's not real. And you'll know on Thursday that the Bears are gonna use that full 15 minutes. How
Oh,
they
for
do the
sure.
clock. They're gonna use the whole thing just because. So
Even though, yeah, they do it every year. Well,
yeah,
I've been watching the draft a while.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. All
Okay,
right.
so pick
Well,
number two. This is where the debate begins. Like I said, if you would have asked me this, maybe not 24 hours ago, but
like
48
2 days
hours
ago.
ago,
Yeah,
I would have just said this is so easily Jada Daniels, and now I'm like, we have a debate here.
yeah,
Um, so I heard the Commanders brought, like I said, I'm going off information that is relevant to right now. It's Sunday. Um, but the information is that they brought Drake May, Jaden Daniels, JJ McCarthy, and Penix.
kind of.
Oops. Penix. They brought them in all for a visit on the same day. That's insane to me. Like all four, were they in the building at the same time? Like this is crazy. I don't know why. This is crazy to me. But anyway, apparently they didn't like Daniels or Daniels didn't like them, is what I'm hearing. His
Yeah, yeah.
agents on Twitter saying it's cap, but
I don't trust him. I
still a
trust
little
Adam
sus.
Schefter more than him.
Here's the
And
thing. Yeah.
you can go.
Oh, I was going to say, here's the thing with these first three picks, by the way. So all three of these teams traded away their starting quarterback from last year. So I don't know. There's a bunch of people that are like, oh, the Patriots are in prime position to trade out. And I'm kind of like, I mean, they could, but you're rolling with Jacoby Brissett when you're sitting here with one of these three guys like available. You can't do that. Anyway,
Yeah,
but this pick, I don't know. The next two, I firmly believe. I believe it's gonna be Jaden Daniels and Drake May in some order. So if we get them mixed up, I'm sorry, but
yeah,
that's what it's gonna be. I'm kind of believing the smoke though. If they're saying that Jane Daniels doesn't want to be there, yada yada yada, he was, I don't know, he didn't wow him at the when he was on site or whatever. I feel like my gut has to say you got to go with May here. But here's the thing. Here's the thing is that that they traded away Sam Howell, and I think it's general consensus. I don't know. I'm not an NFL scout, but it's general consensus that May isn't ready to start right now. He's only 21. Like he's a kid. I mean, he has all the traits, right? He reminds me a lot of Justin Herbert. I think me and Jordan were talking about that off screen.
Hmm.
But got a huge arm. He's tall. He's athletic. You know what I mean? And he's a little raw right now. I think Justin Herbert was probably less raw when he was coming out, but still, like I said, he's my comp because, like I said, he can run too. He led UNC in rushing like 2 years ago, I think. So
Yeah.
he can get it done anyway.
Yeah.
But like I
I'm
said,
with you.
who
I'm
are they
trusting the
starting
coach
right
too.
now if it's not him? And I don't. It's like, is it going to stunt his growth? They got Mariota. Mariota is he's better than Mariota right now. So anyway,
Yeah.
I don't know. But if
Yeah,
it
that's
can't
one of
be
the
Jane Daniels, who's 24 years old and has like 6 years starting under his belt, right? He's got all the experience. The opposite issue, um, I guess we got to go May here, don't you think?
I think so too. I mean, I sent you the one of the tweets yesterday where the odds are like shifting
Yeah.
closer now to May. Like before, it was like a lock that Daniels was going second, and now it's just shifted so much. Like I think Daniels is still like favored, but May is like right behind him. So I feel like Vegas is knowing something, and it's kind of like a little foreshadowing of what's happening. But the thing that's interesting about the Commanders too, it might not be a terrible spot given they got Eckler
Yeah.
and Brian Robinson, so they got good running backs. I assume their line sucks. I just assume. I don't know, to be
Yeah.
honest.
I can't name a player
They
on
they
their
still
line.
got good receivers with Terry McLaurin
Jahan Dotson.
and Dotson too. So I mean they got a little something on offense. And not to mention they got new ownership and everything as well. So it's not I mean, I would think it's not as much of a shit show down there as before. I don't know,
Yeah,
but
it
at
could
least
be
it's
worse.
better
It's
than it was
not great.
before.
But going back to Vegas, just playing devil's advocate, I did see a tweet that was like the same odds, whatever. It was the odds for the second overall pick. When that tweet came out about the odds shifting, it was like the odds for the second overall pick at this time last year had Will Levis as the top odds, and he didn't go until the second round. So I'm just saying.
That's true. Yeah, I mean, it really shows you never know, but just given
There are just so
just
many
all the
variables.
talk right now and everything, um, I say go with May. I mean, it's not going to affect the
Yeah,
mock that much because we got spoiler alert. We're probably going to have Jaden Daniels going third. Um,
I definitely
so
do.
yeah, so
But yeah, so we're over here at pick three. I think there's some debate here whether, like I said, I don't know. There was debate at least up to a couple weeks ago with whether there should be Marvin Harrison. Like should this be a cute or should this be a you need much more than a quarterback, I feel like. But like I said, they traded away Mac Jones for a 6th round pick. And I don't even know. Like I said, this has to be a quarterback if you ask me. And I feel like Jaden would probably be a good fit here. It'll be a nice change of pace for what they've had, which is uh immobile.
athletic.
Yeah, going from Tom Brady to Mac Jones, and then to Jane Daniels is a huge shift. And I think it's evident of a changing league too, right? And I think Jane Daniels could do that well. And like I was saying earlier, when we were talking about the Drake May pick, Jane Daniels has been starting for what, at least 5 years or something.
Yeah,
He's
back
got
in the
lots of
Arizona
starts
State
under his
days.
belt. He could go tomorrow. Like he's ready to go.
Yeah.
Um, but that pick's pretty easy for me. The next
Yeah.
pick, though,
Well,
is
I was
maybe the
going to
hardest
chime
pick
in
in
with
the entire draft.
I was going to chime in on the Patriots pick too. I have seen
Oh
that
yeah,
they're open to trading back. I mean, I think the GM said something along those lines of saying, "Hey, we're open for business and all that kind of stuff." But I feel like it's a situation where like they're open to it, but I feel like the asking price will be way too much, and they'll just end up keeping the pick. And
yeah, and it's
they
also
might they
like
might they might prefer to trade back. And like you said, they got so many holes like everywhere else. Like quarterback, like it's not the sexiest spot to go to
right, and it's also
and
not gonna
everything. But
fix
if you're
all their issues.
there,
Like
if you're
they
at
got no
three, you
one.
got to pick a quarterback.
Like I don't know. Like the Patriots have no one. Like seriously, start trying to think about like who's the best player on the Patriots, and you're just like, geez,
Oh,
sit.
geez, I don't know.
And they also like,
I mean, they're
I
going to
mean,
be bad this year too.
oh yeah, but I mean like they have a lineman that's pretty good. Their like right guard is solid. I forget his name, like Owenu or something like that. Christian Gonzalez, their first round pick last year, ended up being pretty good, but he was hurt the whole year. But I'm like, I feel like I'm grasping at straws. Like they got
Yeah.
nobody.
Not to mention that division they're in with the Jets, Bills, and Dolphins in there. I
Yeah, who
mean,
are all much better than them. Yeah,
yeah,
so
like
I don't know.
they might be a team that might pick first next year. I mean,
Yeah,
honestly. And
yeah, but this
something
quarterback
too,
class is better. So I mean, you gotta.
yeah, and that was something I was gonna say too. Apparently the talk is like, someone's gonna end up stepping up or come, up in their stock and improving. But the scouts apparently aren't too excited about next year's draft. So I feel like if you need a quarterback or you're thinking about potentially getting a quarterback, it's either now or you're rolling the dice, with some
Yeah,
not a more attractive option next year. Like, can you afford the wait? Like, this is your
yeah.
time to get it.
Speaking of this class in general, we didn't really do an overview, but from my research, once again, I'm not an expert, but from my research, I mean, you can look at the board right now, like wide receiver and tackle. And I guess the top couple quarterbacks are good too, but wide receiver and tackle, this class is completely stacked. Like it has like, I don't know, 5, 6 maybe first round wide receivers, and I'd also say another 5 or 6 tackles. I saw I'm pulling stats by the way. This is why the Low Blow podcast is better than us, is because Smeals pulls stats. I
I
don't
don't
pull
even
stats.
think they
I pull
exist
this.
anymore. I'll be honest.
Whoa.
I
I
don't think
saw
they
them the other
do.
day.
They do?
They're
Oh,
taking a break. They might just be taking a break.
I like
Or
us.
you got noties turned off. Um Also all my subs turn noties on. Anyway, yeah, because it's the first time in 11 months you're gonna get one. You need anyway. Okay. I completely lost my train of thought. What were we talking about? I started talking about
Draft class.
stats. Okay. I saw that. Jeez. It's happened 3 times. I don't remember the last year, but it said there have been 3 times where the record for most offensive players selected in the first round is 19.
Interesting.
Bold take. Maybe not a lock, but bold take. I think we're gonna break that this year. I just think there's so many offensive players. Like I said, I just like wide receiver and tackle alone might hit you with 12, and then these 3 quarterbacks.
Quarterback. Hmm.
Yeah, like that'll already get you to 19 almost. Brock in there as a tight end, like I think it could happen for sure. Like the defensive talent is at the very top. Like there are a couple, like there's I don't know. We'll get to them in a second, but like Dallas Turner and a couple corners. Latu. We got some guys in here. Anyway, we're going too slow. Let's do pick 4.
All right,
This
pick four.
this is so hard.
Arizona. So this is where, I mean, I would argue that I think the draft begins at 3 with the Patriots, depending if they trade out or not. But assuming they stay, I mean, early assumption is, I mean, either way, even if they don't trade, even if they trade back or not, the first 3 picks are going to be quarterbacks.
Yeah, I feel like the
So
first 3 are, and then the question is, where
is
does
it
JJ
going to
McCarthy
trade out or
go?
do they pick now?
Who's trading up, and which one of these teams is going to be the one to do it? Because I feel like at least these next 3 teams, right? If you're looking at the Cardinals, Chargers, and Giants, like desperately need wide receiver, like so bad. And then like the next 3 best players on the board are basically the 3 next wide receivers. You know what I mean? So I'm like, who's trading out? I mean, who's willing to take one farther down the board? It's a very interesting question. This is the part where I'm kind of like, you can't blame us if we start getting stuff wrong right
Yeah,
here.
this,
The
this,
first,
this
the
is
first 3
where,
maybe.
yeah, this is where I have no idea. I mean, you can make arguments no matter what. You could say the Giants are going to trade up. You could say the Vikings are going to trade up. You can even say the
Raiders,
Broncos, the
Raiders,
Raiders.
Broncos. There's so many teams that this could be, and
But
that's what.
here's
But
what I've
also,
been
the
saying with the
Cardinals need a wide
Cardinals.
receiver, and the best wide receiver is on the board right there. So it's kind of
Yeah,
like, wouldn't you just take it?
yeah, and that's what I was going to say. I feel like this kind of Kyler's like prove it year where he's coming off the ACL and everything. I mean, DeAndre Hopkins is now gone. The Hollywood Brown is now gone. Like, you got to give him something to have him prove himself if he's going to be the quarterback of the future, or if you start looking around.
Yeah, and also with the
So,
Cardinals, I mean,
you
my
know,
my thing is if the Cardinals trade out of this pick, because I feel like a lot of people are like, hey, the first 4 picks are QBs, right? Um, if the Cardinals trade out of this pick, my thing is like, I feel like they can't go that far because I feel like they still would want one of those top 3 receivers. So they have to still be in the mix in the top 8-ish. Now, last year, literally last year, they traded back and then they traded back up into the top 10-ish for Paris Johnson. Um, I think that could happen again, but like I said, they just did that last year. So I don't know. I feel like deep down in my gut, I still kind of feel like this pick is Marvin Harrison.
I kind of do too. I don't know if I
Let's
want to
do
take.
it.
All
We
right.
don't need to reach for JJ, you know?
Yeah. Okay. Let's do it.
I
Marvin
like it.
Harrison. And honestly, I don't even think that's a bad idea. You go get the proven guy right now. I mean, Marvin Harrison and DeAndre Hopkins might have some similar type games.
And you can build around that. Like the rest
Yeah.
of your team could suck. You could be not saying the Vikings are bad, but like Justin Jefferson like is good enough where he could almost like win games by himself. And I
Yeah.
think Marvin Harrison could do that.
Yeah. And the thing is too, and if Kyler stinks and you got to go get another quarterback, well,
He's
this
in a
quarterback
much
can have
better
a great landing
situation.
spot because he's got Marvin Harrison to go throw to.
Yeah.
So
Well, nah, we made our decision. That's what we're rolling with. We got to keep
yeah,
going. Every pick builds off of the next one too, so it's kind of like the farther down the board you go, the more chaotic it gets, and the
yeah,
more like just impossible to predict. Because I don't know, like I said, you don't know who's going to be there. Anyway, so now we're sitting here with the Chargers at 5. This is another situation where I mean, Malik Neighbors is right there. You got rid of your two best receivers. I'm like, is this that easy? Or do you think with the Harbaugh regime, right, that they're just going to try to run the ball and they're going to go
hmm
offensive lineman or try to trade back and get more picks because um it's very interesting. I kind of think honestly with this one too that Neighbors is right here. Like just pull the trigger. I don't know.
yeah. That
Need a receiver so bad and he's like the best player on the board.
Yeah, this is one too where I feel like if you're picking here, I mean the wide receiver core is just so atrocious where you got to give Herbert something, right?
Yeah.
And some have argued that Neighbors is the number one receiver in the class. I mean, some GMs think that, agree or not, but I think Neighbors is up there with Harrison. I think it's a 1A 1B kind of situation between Neighbors and Harrison. So if it was me,
I
I would pick Neighbors, but I don't know what they're gonna do. I mean, it's another case of like, and I feel like too, like, I mean, David, who's probably asleep right now, our Chargers source, has told us that their GM is, and Jimmy Boy is kind of under the assumption that the first four picks are going to be quarterbacks. That Arizona's going to trade up and they're going to essentially have the number one pick. So not in this mock, of course, because now they essentially got the number two pick. But either way, I feel like it's going to take a lot to get them to trade out. But is it a case that somebody like the Vikings try to hop the Giants and go get JJ? I mean,
I could definitely see it happening, like I said, but this is our mock, you know. Doesn't matter what everyone else is doing.
yeah,
Yeah. I this it's just so tough. Like I said, if there's even one trade or shakeup, like the entire board's just like it's
yeah,
toast.
yeah, and
So
that's the thing that's making this draft so interesting. I feel like there's so many teams that are kind of on top of the draft, like the Chargers, Cardinals, Patriots, whoever, that are teams that can definitely are looking to trade back, unlike years before. So nobody knows what the hell's going on. So
and
I
I
don't
love
know.
it. That's why I love the draft. And
Do
that's
you
why I
want
hate
do you want to say they
President Trip.
trade with the Vikings? I feel like the Vikings are going to trade up. I don't know. Just from how they're talking about how they need a quarterback, they only signed Sammy D. You got Justin Jefferson. You signed Aaron Jones. You got a good line. It'd be a great situation. I mean, that's the best situation a quarterback can go to.
But
Um,
do you think
I don't
if a
know.
team were to trade up, it would be here is the question. Because I'm kind of like I said, if I'm the Chargers, I'm like Malik Neighbors is right
Yeah,
here. But also there is wide receiver, depth down the board, right? There's a lot of
yeah.
them,
Well,
but
that's the thing
still
too. But
it's
I feel
like
like when you got a bunch of nobodies, I mean, their best receivers freaking Josh Palmer and Quentin Johnston. I mean, do you want that alpha receiver? I mean, I feel like the three receivers that are kind of in that alpha tier is the Harrison, Neighbors, and Adunze. So it's kind of
right.
like
So
I don't know. Your call. Your call. Your
so
call.
I do kind of think with a new coach coming in, it would probably make more sense to try to get picks for his guys. Even
Hmm.
though I just think you have a chance for an elite player at a huge position of need. So it's kind of like, that's tough. But I feel like I'll go with my gut and say that someone trades up to 5 here.
All right. You
And
want
that
to?
Harbaugh is willing to move out because he wants to, he said he wants to build the trenches, all this other stuff. You think it would probably be the Vikings, I'm assuming. Um,
Yeah, let's just say the Vikings.
it's just easy. They got 2 first round picks and they should be able to move up
You
pretty
want to just
quick.
say they give them both of them the 11 and
Oh
23.
yeah.
Yeah.
They would definitely do both. And then I don't know. They'd probably do a little bit more. Can you force it by chance?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I think so. So yeah, they would definitely add more, but we're only just gonna do
Yeah.
the
All
stuff that
right.
would
The
affect the
Minnesota
first round.
Vikings have traded up and they are going to take JJ McCarthy, the quarterback.
Yeah, I feel like you have to in this situation. I mean, why
Yeah.
else would you trade up?
Oh, for sure. Like, okay.
Yeah.
So now we're here at the Giants. I feel like that makes this pick very easy. Well, maybe not very easy. It's probably your choice of who you think like the Giants' choice of who they like between Odunze and Neighbors. I like them both, but yeah, like you were kind of saying earlier, I think Neighbors might have a little more upside with that kind of top end speed and just that explosive playmaking ability. So I think
Yeah.
that pick is pretty easy. It's a layup. I think the Giants are sitting very pretty. Like we kind of mentioned it in Peter Schrager's mock draft. They had the Giants trading up to 4 to take JJ McCarthy. I don't necessarily agree with that. I think you gotta give Daniel Jones something. I'm not making excuses for him, but they
Yeah.
they need receiver horribly, and I feel like they're sitting very pretty if they just sit there at 6, that they should be able to get either Odunze or Neighbors, whichever one falls to them, and both of them obviously are elite players that could I don't know, could be
Yeah.
a focal point of an offense. Like they could be the guy. So
Yeah.
makes this
Yeah.
easy. Um
No, I
this one,
agree. And like I just said, this is another team that could easily trade up to 4, switch with the Cardinals or whatever, because I don't think there's the GM and everything. I don't know if they're the ones that signed Daniel Jones to that extension, but they definitely didn't draft him. So
yeah.
I feel like I wouldn't be surprised if they're just like, we're done. But at the same time, if you do trade up at 4, who the hell is he going to be? Who's he playing with? Because Saquon's gone too. So it's kind of
Exactly.
like,
Like I said, you got to
I
build.
don't know. You
And you're
signed
kind
them
of
to all that
stuck.
money. I think you got to pay them anyways, even if they like trade
Well,
them or cut them or
yeah, I was
whatever.
gonna say they have him like for a guaranteed one more year of like 40 million. And then I
Yeah,
think they have if I believe they have an out after like next year, but I'm kind of like, yeah, you're paying him that much money, like he's gonna be your
you got to
quarterback.
give them something.
And also,
Similar
once
to the
again, I'm not
Kyler
trying to make
situation.
excuses. Daniel Jones is not good. Okay.
No,
But
no.
I don't think he's as awful as people think he is. And he was injured last year. Like, I don't know. And 2 years ago, when he was not injured, he won a playoff game for the Giants. So I'm just saying. I'm
Yeah,
like,
and I think,
he's not the worst quarterback of all time. And some
yeah.
people he fumbles too much. But
And that's the
that's his
thing with
issue.
like the NFL is that it comes down so much to the spot that you're in with the coaches who you got around you. I mean,
For sure.
you can make not everyone's just gonna walk in and be, no matter where they are, like Andrew Luck, like we just said, and it's gonna be good. Like a lot of it is so much of like where you land. So like JJ McCarthy going to the Vikings, I like him at that spot a hell of a lot more than I like him on the
Oh
Patriots.
yeah. Like all you got to do is
So
get the ball to Justin Jefferson and
I
Jordan
mean,
Addison. You got Aaron Jones at running back. You
I
got
forgot about
TJ
Jordan Addison.
Hawkinson.
Yeah.
You got TJ Hawkinson and you have I don't want to I was going
And
to
you got
say
an offensive coach.
and an offensive line. Like
Yeah, and online.
you got 2 good tackles and what Darisaw and O'Neal. Like you're good. Like
Yeah.
that's the best situation. Anyway, we're going too much. We got to speed it up a little bit. We're like 30 minutes in and we're only on pick 6.
All right. Well, I feel like this is the easiest pick of
This is the
right
easiest
next to
pick in the
Caleb.
entire
It's Joe
draft.
Alt.
Yeah, it's a position of need, right? The Titans literally they lost Taylor Lewan, and they need both tackles. They need like left tackle and right tackle. This is just so easy. Like I don't know, he's just right there. He's enormous.
Yeah, I
He's
don't
a
think much to
great
say.
player.
I feel like he's one of the more safer picks in the draft too.
Oh
Like
yeah,
as
like
far as like bust
just
potential.
he's a Pro Bowler right now. Just like stick
Yeah,
him in there, and he'll protect Levis. And that's the other thing you're trying to build around Will Levis, right? Who had a solid year last year. It wasn't amazing. He kind of came out fast against my Falcons, unfortunately. And then yeah, fell apart a little bit, but that's what happens sometimes. But they're going to try to build around him. They think that he's the guy, at least right now. So let's see what he's got.
yeah,
All right,
yeah.
here we
Your
have my
Falcons, though.
Falcons.
You take it away from here. I'm not going to interrupt this one.
Yeah, this one's tough. There's a lot of good players on the board that the Falcons could take. The most hilarious would be Brock Bowers, I think, but it's obviously not going to happen. But wouldn't that be so funny if they took another tight end like top
God.
10
Oh my
and then
lord.
didn't throw to him? Oh, with Kyle Pitts, it'd be so funny. But yeah, that's not going to happen. I just think we're in prime position after the Kirk Cousins signing, right? And we also what was it? We signed Darnell Mooney. We traded for Rondell Moore and got like Ray McLeod. I'm not saying we're set at wide receiver or anything. I definitely think Odunze could be in play here, but I think you could argue we've done enough patching at wide receiver to warrant like not needing to take wide receiver here at 8.
Yeah.
And
They
it's
got
been
bigger
the
needs than
problem with
wide
the
receiver
Falcons
right
for a
now.
decade or more. We desperately need an edge rusher, and that I just think Dallas Turner fits the best for us right here at 8. I think basically every single mock has Dallas Turner to the Falcons at 8. I've heard some rumors that Latu's creeping up boards. His thing is like I don't know. They say he's unanimously like he's the best edge rusher, but he has the medical stuff. So
I
it's
was
like
about
where
to
will he
say.
actually go?
Yeah.
That's kind of Latu's thing. I heard some people like Jared Verse. I honestly don't love him. That might be a terrible take if we look at this years from now. I think he's a little one-dimensional. I think he's a great power rusher, but that's about it. Like, I don't think he does anything else. And I just think the athleticism, right, of Dallas Turner, he's just so fast. And he also had the production to go with it because you're always like when you're looking at these pass rushers, you're usually kind of gauging like athleticism and also production, right? Like I mean, you could be the twitchiest, you can get super low, all this stuff. You can test fantastic at the combine, and then it's like, wait, you had 4 career sacks, kind of thing. It's like if you can't produce in college, then you can't produce at the NFL, or maybe. I mean, you're scouting for traits because you want to coach them up. I don't know. I'm going too far, but I just feel like this pick's probably going to be Dallas Turner. I would be very happy if it was. I'd also I don't think it's out of the question to be one of the top corners, which we'll talk about here in a second. But Terrion Arnold and Quinyon Mitchell, I think, are both beasts. And like I said, I don't think that's out of the question, but I definitely think that I don't know. Edge is a position of need, and there's a guy right here, and Falcons are in a good position to take the first defensive player off the board. So, unless you have
Yeah.
anything,
I was just gonna say they've needed the pass rush for like it feels like forever. I mean, I don't know where the rankings are as far as like QB sacks and stuff, but it's got to be like near the bottom. I don't
oh,
know.
it's got to be
It just
terrible.
feels like a pass rush has always been a problem, like the past 100 years, and they'll just pick like skill players and stuff. Yeah, you mentioned a Dunze, but like you said, they've made some signings at wide receiver. They've done the whole skill player thing with Bijan, Kyle Pitts, and Drake London and all that kind of stuff. Kind of time to beef up that defense. Seems like the offense is going somewhere. You mentioned corners too, but I don't know. I don't feel like that's a number one need just given the division. I mean, you're in a division with Derek Carr as your biggest op as a quarterback and Baker and Bryce Young. So I feel like I don't know.
And we
The
have
the
we have
more way
a
to affect them is to get after them and stuff like that.
yeah,
So
and obviously
I can see
we have
corner, but
Terrell and Bates. We have Terrell and Bates in the secondary. I mean, we
yeah,
definitely like we need a second corner for sure, but like I said, I don't think that's our primary need at this moment.
yeah. All
But
right. Well, here's another team that I could see trading back is
yeah,
the
so
Bears.
I don't have the numbers in front of me. Once again, difference between us and the low blow is I should have done better research beforehand, but I'm pretty sure. That's the difference between us. Is I go off hunches and things that I vaguely remember seeing on Twitter. I'm pretty sure the Bears only have like 4 picks this entire draft. Now, one of them's obviously number one, one's number 9, and then I think they just have 2 random other picks, like in the, I don't know, 4th through 6th round or something like that. But they only have like 4 picks the entire draft, which is crazy. Now, it begs the question, right? You're sitting here with Odunze or Bowers available, you know what I mean? Or you could get a top edge rusher like Verse or Latu. There's a lot in play here at 9. But like you were kind of saying, I feel like this is a good trade back candidate, but who's trading up and what for would be my question. Would it be one of these other tackles? Would it be to try to get, like I said, Jared Verse or Latu? Because there's only, there's 3 good edge rushers, and then I feel like there's a big drop off. There's also 2 good corners, if you ask me. Maybe 3 if you add in like Cooper DeJean. But he has some injury concerns as well.
The Colts,
Yeah.
maybe.
So, like I said, the question of this is if someone is trading up, who are they trading up for? I could see it being for Odunze though.
I was
So,
about to say like a Dunze or maybe they try to hop the Jets and get Brock. I mean,
yeah,
you know, I
this
said
one's very interesting. I feel
I'm,
like if I mean to let us get out scotch free, I feel like the easiest one would be to just let Odunze go to the Bears. But they have
they got Keenan
they
and
have
DJ
DJ Moore
Moore.
and Keenan Allen, and I feel like they've done enough. Also their line is pretty solid. So I mean they're in another prime position. Like they could take one of these top tackles, but also like you could trade down a bit and get another tackle.
Yeah,
There's a ton of them. And then
I'm
number 3,
kind of
yeah,
feeling.
they took a tackle in the first round last year, top 10, Darnell Wright. So I don't
I'm
know. I
I'm kind of
agree. This
feeling they
is
would trade with the Colts,
I kind
or
of
maybe
like that.
even the
And
Raiders
the
go
Colts,
up. But the Raiders, I
yeah,
feel like they would only go up if it's like a quarterback. But
I agree.
JJ McCarthy
I
with
think
like
the
the
Raiders wants Jaden Daniels. If Jaden, I think they want Jaden Daniels, is what I've heard. So if Jaden
Raiders.
Daniels gets picked at 3, the Raiders are just gonna sit there and cry, I guess, and be like, I don't
Yeah.
want to draft anymore. But I like the idea of the Colts coming up to 9, to get Odunze, who's fallen a little bit. And it's crazy to say he's fallen when he's still there at like pick 9. You know what I mean? But like
Yeah.
Odunze's that good. And
Sure.
it's just because these quarterbacks, right, are pushing these other players kind of down the board a little bit. Like a player I really like personally is like Quinyon Mitchell, and I think he'll probably go in the 12 to 20 range. And I think he's so good. But like I said, these other players just kind of
Yeah, and
push him
you get
away.
Anthony Richardson some more weapons, get somebody paired up with Michael
Yeah,
Pittman and
for
everything like
sure.
that.
Because
You
he's
got
really like
Jonathan
their
Taylor
only
back
guy.
there. I mean, you know,
Yeah,
yeah,
I love this move a lot actually. I hadn't really considered it. Like I said, we do this live, guys. Like this isn't hashed out. It's not planned beforehand. We're talking about it in front of you. And yeah, I love this, honestly.
hmm yeah.
For
No, I
and
like
also
it too.
the Colts
It
haven't done much this offseason. Like they haven't done a lot. I think they re-signed some guys, right? Like they re-signed Pittman, who could have been a free agent, or they did the thing where they franchise tagged him or something and then signed him. But still, they brought guys back, but I don't think they really made any moves. So I like that they're making one big move right here and
well,
getting a good playmaker.
and it's the thing too. You got a quarterback on a rookie contract.
Yeah.
This is where you start making some bolder moves. You start signing people to move the more money. I mean, look at the Texans. I mean, they're making moves while CJ's on that rookie contract, and you put everything around them as you can to make them as successful as possible. So might be something like that too, where you start being a little more aggressive, get them some more weapons, beefing up that defense and everything. So, but
Oh yeah.
speaking of quarterbacks not on a rookie contract, the
Oh
Jets. This is an
yeah. And
this is an
I got a little
interesting
spiel about the Jets if I can take it away.
go for it.
So here we are at the Jets pick. If you had asked me what this was before free agency, I would have said 100% it had to be a tackle, right? I would have
Mm-hmm.
said their tackles are so bad, like Aaron Rodgers, no one could stay upright in that offense. I would have said it had to be a tackle. And I still think tackle is in play here. But as I thought about it more, I said, hey, listen, it's very much seeming like this is one last ride kind of thing. Actually, rewind 1 second. They signed what was it, Tyron Smith and Morgan Moses, I think. Both are like 33, 34 years old with injury concerns, but they got tackles, right?
Yeah.
So my thought process was those two guys are going to start. I mean, whether they play every snap, that's not happening. But you know what I mean. Whether they play every snap is another question. But so it's kind of like if you took a tackle here, you'd be building for the future. And it
Yeah.
does make sense. To me, it's the smart move that makes sense. But here's my thought process. If you look at the current regime right now, I mean, Robert Sala, I don't have the numbers. Once again, I don't do my research. I just go off my gut. Um, Robert Sala's been there a couple of years now and hasn't done much. I mean, other than,
I mean, the
he
defense has been
produced the top
good, but
defense a couple of years ago. But like, it's kind of like the seat's getting warm, if you ask me. And also, to me, the seat's getting warm for the GM as well, who started making all these moves. And, we were thinking, obviously, the Aaron Rodgers thing tanked all of it, or with his Achilles. But I don't know. You got to start seeing something here. Like everyone was like they're the Super Bowl favorites coming into last year, and obviously, like I said, the Achilles you can't predict that. But I kind of feel like this is like a last ride, or
I
maybe
agree.
maybe the second to last ride for Rodgers. So my thought and last ride for the GM and coach, in my opinion.
Yeah,
So my thought process is like take Brock Bowers,
I
like
agree. I'm
get
with
an
you
elite
100%.
offensive, just stack your offense and try to win right now. Like I said, if you're building for the future, this pick has to be tackle. But I've kind of shifted to be like, dude, just get a guy who can score points because your offense was atrocious last year. Like they brought in Mike Williams, right? Did they bring in anyone else at wide receiver? I don't remember.
I don't think
Anyway,
so.
you got Brees Hall coming back, like he was
Got
he was
Garrett
injured.
Wilson.
Yeah, obviously Garrett Wilson's a beast, and Aaron Rodgers is going to be back. I just feel like stack it in his favor, and like I said, try to go for one less ride, one Super Bowl, and then like I said, your job's on the line, honestly, with this pick. So you don't be safe with it, honestly. Like you know
I
what I mean?
agree.
Like don't go
And
don't
get
get a
somebody who's like one of the I mean, we were talking about who Joel being one of the safer picks in the draft. Brock Bowers might be the safest as far as like.
yeah, like
I
he's
mean,
gonna
we've watched him for 3 years. Maybe we're biased, but everyone likes to complain about Kyle Pitts and all that kind of stuff. He's better than Kyle Pitts. I'm sorry, he is.
no
He-
no Brock right now, like literally there's I mean, Kelsey's getting old, but there's Kelsey, there's Kittle, there's Mark Andrews, there's Hawkinson, and then I'm being honest, like
Florida.
oh Laporta, yeah, but I'm
That's like
like
the only
seriously,
other one.
if you take those couple guys, and I'm kind of like, who else in the league is better than Bowers right now? And I'm like, I feel like he's already up there, like he's borderline top five, and he hasn't even played a snap. And I know that might be outrageous. People are snorting. They're like, oh, these Georgia fans, and I'm like, no, he's that good. So,
Yeah, but
but
stuff.
like I
And
said,
and
their
honestly,
job's on the line.
I think Kyle Pitts is kind of screwed Brock's draft stock as far as like you don't want to
Yeah,
pick a tight end that far again because you saw what happened to Kyle. I mean, we were saying the same thing about Kyle Pitts. It's like, oh, he's gonna walk in and be a beast and all this kind of stuff like day one,
had a
and
thousand yards as a rookie. It's only been done a couple
yeah, one
times.
touchdown. But like either
Yeah,
way, they don't
yeah.
throw. But either way, it's still not a great look.
But
He
no one
hasn't
scores
done great.
touchdowns from Dawkins, so it's not his fault.
Yeah, but
Anyway,
either way, I feel like it's kind of screwed. I mean, they picked him over Jamar Chase and others, so
yeah,
not a great look. So I feel like that's kind of screwed it. You pick Brock for all the reasons you said. You got Aaron Rodgers. You went to go get Aaron Rodgers. He's hurt now. You can't be. The future is now for them. I mean, they made that trade to go win now. You go surround. Not to mention Brock can block. And so that helps with, I mean, that'll help with the line and everything as well, too. So if Brock is there, I like the fit. Now, if you made me pick anywhere, I would have loved him to go to the Bengals, but he's not going to be there.
yeah.
So
Anyway,
like
okay.
it for the
So
Jets.
so now that we're done with the top 10, I just want to make it a little bit of it's 11:30. We got to get rolling. So let's take a little, I don't know. Let's go faster. Anyway, so we're here at the Chargers pick. Um let's see. Looking at the way the board has fallen, I feel like this is probably right tackle if you ask me. What do
I
you think?
agree. I think they got to go tackle. I
And I
mean,
kind of like Olu
I mean,
Fashanu here.
we're talking about
I go a
like
little
it's
early,
so
but
interesting of how like where you are in the draft, how that kind of changes the
exactly.
thought process. I mean, if they were at I mean, if they were still at five, I would say you 100% pick Neighbors or Harrison. But now that you're at 11, Jimmy likes to run the ball and everything. I feel like they
And
want
they
to
have
kind
a
of.
chance to get another wide receiver
Yeah, and
with
I
the
was
other
gonna say they could
pick.
get another wide receiver later. The wide receiver class is so stacked. You can go get a wide receiver with their second in this mock. We have them have 2 first rounders now. You have
Yeah.
them go pick a wide receiver at
So
23, and then you can go pick another one in the second round if you want.
So
So
this one, I guess, is your choice of this is one where it's kind of like pick your tackle because I don't know
yeah,
which one you want. I think Olu Fashanu has played right tackle if I'm not mistaken. Um, so I could like him here. Also, Talisa Fuaga is good at Oregon State and Troy Fautanu from Washington. I think it's probably a little too early for Mims. I think he's just I love his upside, but I think it's a little too early for them. So I guess this one is pick your flavor. Which one feels
I
like a
guess we'll
charger to you?
I guess we'll just go with the Penn State guy because he's higher on the board.
All right, that's good enough for me. Like I
Um,
said, if we get this one wrong, then get the position right. If we predict a trade back and then I don't even, you know what I mean? You can't flame us for it.
so
All right.
now another interesting team is the Broncos.
Yeah, so the thing with the Broncos here is Broncos don't have a second round pick, and that's very important to bring up. That's because I mean they also need a quarterback. They're rolling into the season this year with Jarrett Stidham. So, and they do not have a second round pick. So I kind of think I don't know. I could see Sean Payton kind of liking Stidham, which is weird. And I could see them going for an edge like Latu reverse because they desperately need that, especially after they traded Bradley Chubb away. And excuse me. Yeah, they have no one on that front, I feel like that I can think of. And yeah, I mean, this would be I feel like you were saying, this could be a trade back spot, especially like I said, they don't have a second round pick. They need a quarterback. There's no way that they're gonna reach for Bo Nix here or Penix. I feel like they can't.
Yeah.
Um
No, and you can definitely afford trading back and still getting 1 to 2.
and like I said, yeah. So now I'm trying to think if someone were to trade up here, right? You always have to think like what would they be trading up for? And in this case,
Yeah.
I think if someone were to trade up, it would be someone trading up for one of these corners to me.
Yeah.
To try to hop the Raiders because I think like a team like the Jags could really use a corner. Um, and I feel like they could be trying to trade up maybe, or we could just have the Broncos stick and pick here. Like I said, I feel like
I mean, the teams that I can think would get a corner is like the Jags, like you
that's
said.
what I'm saying. Like if the Jags wanted to try to jump the Raiders and get Quinyon Mitchell, because spoilers, if Quinyon Mitchell's still on the board at 13, he's my pick to the Raiders. So
Yeah.
I could see the Jags trying to move up a little bit, but
You make the call.
that still doesn't drop the Broncos back very far. I guess it's better to take Bo Nix at 17 than 12 if they're gonna do it.
Yeah.
But I think he'll be there in the second round, to be honest.
Yeah.
So what do you think?
I
You want
mean,
to do a trade up here, or you want to just take an edge and make it easy?
I don't know. Let's see. I don't know. What do you think?
Um, I don't want to get too convoluted with these trades because the more trades we try to predict and then don't happen, the just worse this mock's gonna end up.
Yeah.
So,
I think the
I'm gonna say
Broncos
let
are actually it could be a sneaky team that trades up too, because I
who?
saw that they seem that they're open to like trading Patrick Surtain and everything like that too.
Yeah, to trade up and get that'd be crazy. I mean,
Yeah.
I'd take that if I was the Patriots or something. If they want to move up to 3 and give me Pat Surtain and like 3 first round picks, and you'd still be picking
Mhm.
at 12 or something, I'd be like,
Yeah.
I'd probably do it.
Yeah.
But
Too
in
late
this
now.
alternate universe that we're in right now, they're picking at 12. Like I said, they don't it's just tough. Like if you don't like I said, if you don't have a second round pick, and you don't take a quarterback here, it's kind of like you're rolling with Jarrett Stidham.
Yeah.
So I feel like you almost have to trade back. And even if it won't affect this mock as much, like you have to get that second round pick to try to maybe get Bo Nix or Penix or something to
Would
help
the
you out.
Bills be somebody that would potentially trade
I
up?
actually like that a lot because the Bills need a wide receiver. I know they're in a good spot to take one, but I definitely think it might be a little early for Brian Thomas Jr., but I kind of like them coming up here and getting the next best wide receiver on the board. If we want to do that.
YOLO. Let's do it.
All right, so we're gonna have the Bills trading up to 12. I think this is a mutually beneficial trade. Like I said, the Bills desperately need a wide receiver. After Stephon Diggs has left, they're rolling into the season. I literally
Similar to
think
the Chargers.
Collins and Khalil Shakir are
Where-
uh they're at the top right.
Oh, there we go.
Okay. Yeah, so look, they're picking at 12 and then they're picking at 76. Just force it. I don't know how it's gonna. Can you force it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like I said, it's not affecting, we're gonna assume that they're gonna try to pick the Broncos are trying to pick up more picks because you can't pick at 12 and then 76, right? And they have a
Yeah.
lot of holes too. So yeah, I think it's a little bit of a reach for Brian Thomas. Like I said, this
Well,
has
you
him
got
as
Josh Allen, so you're desperate.
yeah, for sure. And I do think there's a little bit of a gap, like between if you go to the wide receiver tab, yeah. Yeah, and I definitely think there's a I don't want to say a huge gap, but I think there's a sizable gap warranting a trade up between Brian Thomas and AD Mitchell to me. And even
Yeah.
Lad, I love Lad, but I think Brian Thomas is dude, he scored 17 touchdowns last year. I
Yeah,
know
he's
he had
underrated, I
injuries
feel
thrown to
like.
him. And
He's
that's crazy.
yeah.
And I agree. I think he's underrated just because he was in the same offense as neighbors. And everyone's like, look at this guy. Same
Hmm.
thing with kind of Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson. Everyone was like, dude, look at Jamar Chase. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
he got overlooked. So I know those are all LSU wide receivers. That's crazy, but
Yeah, but the correlation.
that's all right. But here we are at 13. Like I kind of said, I feel like this pick, I mean, this could be tackle if you want to play it safe. There's a lot of good tackles still on the board that I think are, top 10, top 15 talent. But when you look at the Raiders, who the heck is playing corner? Their top corner wears like number 38, and his name is Nate Hobbs, I think, if he's
Hmm.
even still there. And I'm kind of like, that's cornerback one. Like, I don't even know who their second guy is, but their first guy isn't that good either. So I just
Yeah.
feel like this is easy. To me, I personally prefer Quinyon Mitchell. He's an absolute beast.
We'll say
Um,
that. I've seen him as somebody that like some guys have said like if there's like a player that you don't like everyone's kind of sleeping on to go top 10, who could it be?
Oh
I think
yeah,
it's
like I
Mitchell.
said, this guy could go 8 to the Falcons, and I'd be kind of
Yeah.
hyped. So let me give you a little bit of background for those of you who don't know who Quinyon Mitchell is, and I don't really either. But basically, from what I've heard through this pre-draft experience, is that this dude, the only knock on him at all is that he played at Toledo. I've seen multiple sources that say, "You ready for this?" That say this guy is the best player in MAC history. That's
Oh,
crazy.
really?
Like,
Wow.
no, like that's it
That's
doesn't matter.
crazy.
Like, yeah, like to
I
even
mean,
be
I
in that
bet if you look it
conversation,
up, you could find some good
even if he's
back
not
guys
the
in the
best, like
NFL.
exactly. To even be in that conversation is crazy. Like Khalil Mack, for example,
Yeah, well,
played
yeah,
for
there's
Buffalo.
one.
Well, that's what I'm just saying. But this guy, dude, this guy is like 6'3", 6'4". He's long and he ran like a sub 4.4. Like he ran in the 4.3s. And also he's like, I'm pretty sure he's coming out of Toledo like highly decorated. He won a bunch of awards. Um, dude got picks. I don't know what else to say. Like I said, literally the only knock anyone has on this guy is that he played at Toledo. And I'm like, if that's the only knock you have on him, like this guy might be the GOAT. So
Yeah.
I like him a lot. I love this pick, love this fit. That's about it.
Yeah.
Saints at the
The thing
next
that's
big stars.
interesting, I will say the thing that's interesting, do you see the Raiders potentially going like Penix or Bo Nix?
I definitely could see them taking Penix here, but
Yeah.
it sounds dumb, but I kind of feel like Aiden O'Connell was not terrible last
No,
year.
and that's what I was gonna say. Like did
If
he
Aiden
do
O'Connell
enough
was
where
in
you're
this
like,
draft, like where would you take him? I'm like, he's got a year of NFL experience.
yeah.
And they also signed Gardner Minshew. I'm kind of like, I know you're not winning a Super Bowl with those guys, but I definitely think it's serviceable. And to
Yeah.
me, it could warrant, like, if you're not getting one of the top guys, like if you're not getting whatever, Williams, May, Daniels. I feel like don't reach. I don't know.
Hmm.
Anyway,
Oh yeah,
but
definitely. No, I just say that because I've seen some mocks with Penix going to the Raiders, which
yeah,
I mean I see the vision, but will they do it? I don't.
yeah. So to me, okay. So now we're here at 14. This is another to me. This is literally can only be tackle. I'm sorry. This
Yeah,
they
I
have
was gonna say lineman.
Trevor Penning was a first round pick from a couple years ago. It's not working out. The guy's not good. That's okay. Like that happens. Sometimes you pick and you miss, and that's perfectly fine. Trevor Penning's not good, and then Ryan Ranchek on the right side, like there are rumors he might have to medically retire or something because of his knees. Like he's just not holding up. So you need both tackles right now. So I'm kind of
Yeah.
like, hey, look, there's a lot of good tackles. Um, take whichever one's your favorite. I don't know. I feel like this pick is my usual pick is like Olu Fashanu, but we took him a little early. But yeah, just take the next best tackle. I feel like it's just too easy.
What, the Oregon State
You
guy?
have
Yeah.
to. You have to.
Yeah.
Like I said, you're missing both. So here we are, Bears at 15. My initial thoughts, take the next edge. I
I
mean,
was
it's
gonna say
worked
the
out
same
perfectly.
thing. And I think you
Yeah,
got to go defense. Not that you have to go defense, but I've seen the logic is their coach is a defensive guy, and they've made so many moves with getting DeAndre Swift, Keenan Allen. You know, you're picking Caleb at one.
and it
Um,
would be nice to
you're
pair
beefing up the
someone.
offense. The when you with your second round pick, and I could argue they even do this at 9 if they can't trade out is the head coach being like, give me a defensive guy. I need a
Yeah.
defensive guy, and their defense has improved, right? Because
Yeah, and they so
they traded
they
for somebody,
re-signed.
right?
They got
During the couple of years.
Montez Sweat, remember?
Yeah.
So they got Montez Sweat from the Commanders, who actually led them in sacks this year. Fun fact: Montez Sweat, first player ever to lead two different teams in sacks in the same season. He got like 6 sacks for the
Oh wow.
Commanders, I think, and like six. He got 5 or 6 for each team, basically, because he
I
got
don't know
traded
if
at the
that's
trade
impressive
deadline.
or sad.
It's a little of both.
Yeah.
But like I said, he got 5 or 6 for each team this year, and he led both of them in sacks, which is kind of cool. But it would be really nice. I feel like this is a perfect spot to pair one of these edge rushers with Montez Sweat, like I said, to have someone on the other side. Um, yeah, I love the idea of Latu, but the medical thing still kind of scares me. And I've seen people drop way worse. You know what I mean? Like
There's always
like
someone that's gonna drop.
Nakobe Dean dropped into the third round and he was a butt kiss winner. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like for a shoulder injury. And I'm kind of like these injury things scare people, especially in the first. So my gut says verse.
Yeah.
Even though I
There's
like
always
Latu
somebody
better.
that there's gonna be somebody that's gonna drop further than everybody expects. It always
Yeah.
happens.
All
It
right. Here we
always
are at the
happens.
Seahawks. Seahawks are always like the weirdest drafting team. I honestly think they need linemen really badly, and I feel like it's really easy to do the Troy Fautanu. I think he's I could be wrong. I think he's a little shorter than some of the other guys, and I think he could definitely kick into guard. Also, the Washington connection. He's in Seattle already. Does this make too much sense? It's always the thing. The things that make too much sense are always the ones that never happen.
Yeah.
Like, but I just feel like it makes sense. You need some more line help. Um, put them on there. Yeah, it says their top team needs are guard and center. So let's just make it easy. Let's not think about it too much. They don't need corners. They have two beast corners with Devin Witherspoon and God, what's the other guy's name? The the guy from UTSA or whatever that had a bunch of picks in his rookie year. I'm completely blank.
Uh Adam.
I'm my mind is blown. He's really good. I don't know. I don't know why I can't think of his name, but Witherspoon's so good, by the way. We're digressing though.
Yeah.
Here we are, Jags at 17. This is really easy for me
This would
too.
be
The
the
board's falling
dream.
perfect. Yeah,
Yeah.
take Terrion Arnold. He's right here. Great player. Like I said, the way the board's falling is kind of having us have these players falling down the board a little bit. Bengals at 18 is tough for me. I think personally, I think D tackle here. They lost DJ Reader, and it just kind of makes sense. I don't know. I'd go D tackle here, and we have two good ones. Jazar, Johnny Newton from Illinois, and Byron Murphy from Texas. Both of these guys are good, and they fill a positional need.
Yeah.
I'm so good. Okay. I'm
Which
gonna
one did
tell
we
you
say?
right here.
Murphy?
Yeah, I like Murphy from Texas. By the way, I'm just saying, I didn't even look at the team needs up at the top. I'm just spitting. And then I look at the
D
team needs and
tackle.
it says top team need D tackle. And I'm like, let's go. I know what I'm
Yeah.
talking about. Like I said, I wasn't reading that. I promise. Okay.
This is another interesting one where I don't know what the Rams picks are looking like, but I
I
feel like it's
do.
the first time they've had a first round pick in forever. So maybe they
Yeah.
were like, you know what, we got to use it.
I
But
feel
I
like
trade
this
it back
this
too.
one to me is probably one of three. So the ones I like here, sorry if I'm taking over a little bit, but
Oh
I just
no,
love the draft so much. To me, I like Latu here. I like a couple others, so don't click it just yet. But I like Latu here. I feel like he's fallen enough. Um, Obviously the Rams need defensive front help after the retirement of the GOAT, Aaron Donald. And also Latu from UCLA. You know what I mean? I mean from Miami and then UCLA, but still. Or wait, was it Miami? I can't remember. I'm getting it mixed up. Maybe I'm thinking of the other guy, Jaden Phillips. Is that his name?
yeah, yeah,
They're like the same player to me. They were both like medically, I don't know, flagged. Anyway, I kind of like Latu here. Like I said, just keep him like he's already in LA. Like I said, he's fallen enough. It's a position of need. I also like corner here. So like a Nate Wiggins or someone like that who's really athletic. I just think he's a little undersized. I think he came into the combine and weighed like 170 flat or something like that. He was really fast though, but I'm
yeah.
like, dang, that's 170 small.
Getting
So
bodied by DK.
personally, I kind of like Latu here. I feel like he's fallen enough, like I said. And I feel like the Rams would be a kind of team that would like, I feel like I don't
UCLA
want to say they
across the
take
street
weird
too.
picks, you know what I mean? But they could take risky picks. They're kind of like, yeah, they're like, I'll take Tutu Atwell in the second round. And then he turned out to be all right, even though he
Yeah.
was like 5'4". Um, all right, so here we are. Pittsburgh Steelers up next. I feel like most mocks have Amarius Mims going here. I
Yeah,
feel
I
like
was
it just
about to
makes
say
a lot
it's
of
either him
sense.
or
They love their Georgia
Alabama
boys
guy.
too. They got Broderick. They have Darnell over there. They have Pickens, obviously. Let's just run it. Amarius Mims, super athletic. The question is, can he stay on the field, right? Um, I think I saw a stat that said he only started 8 games at Georgia. Is that true? I don't know. That's crazy to me.
Maybe. I'm not sure. But I know like in the SEC championship game against Bama, he got hurt like in the first drive and that was a killer. But we don't make excuses about injuries like Bama does with James
Absolutely.
Wilkins. I
Um,
mean,
all
so
right.
sucks.
Moving on to who do we have up next? The Miami
Miami.
Dolphins. I don't even know what they need, honestly. I just
And
feel like
I feel like I mean, here it is right here, but isn't it Operation Protect Tua? So I feel
I
like you
think
go with
so.
the
So do you
lineman.
think if the board falls this way, do you think I mean JC Latham is just easy? Because he could
Yeah,
definitely
and I feel like I've seen some stuff about some teams kind of liking him a lot, and he's one of those like
yeah.
playing out guys. I feel like maybe I might
I
be
could see
wrong.
them going Powers Johnson as well from Oregon. I know he played center at Oregon, but I think he would make a good guard as well if that's what they're looking for. Like I said, it's all up to preference. It's so hard to predict what they actually want. Um,
Especially when it's
I
linemen.
wouldn't mind like a Nate Wiggins or even Cooper DeJean to just have like a Swiss Army knife at safety kind of thing. But yeah, I kind of feel like if the board were to fall this way, JC Latham would be easy pick here if you
Yeah,
asked me.
love to say that. Eagles, they gotta go defense, right? Right? Right?
Yeah, and I feel like my
Secondary because they got torched.
yeah, one of my favorite picks in the draft is or one of my favorite mock spots is that Cooper DeJean
I was
right
gonna
here. I
say the
like
same
him
thing.
going to the Packers too. It just makes sense. He's a white safety from Iowa, but I'm kind of like the Eagles need secondary help, especially after they what was I gonna say? Especially after they let Kevin Byard go. I think they traded for him like they tried to make a run, if you remember. At the trade deadline, they got Kevin Byard from the Titans, and he just didn't work out. I don't know if it was a scheme thing, but I just think DeJean's a playmaker. Like this guy gets picks. I know he's white, but he can also play corner. He's like a slot guy as well. He can play all over. Like I think he's just smart. He's athletic. He's good. And honestly, I think the only reason he's sitting here at 22 is because he like broke his ankle or something. One of the last games of the year. So this guy's a beast. The Eagles always go after those guys that like fall a little bit but are super good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's kind of their thing. So makes too much sense. Who's up next?
Chargers.
The Chargers. Who do we give them? We gave them tackle, right?
Correct. Yeah. So they
All
have to
right.
be receiver here.
Interesting. Yeah, I like it too. So
Let's see who are
receiver at
on here.
23. Yeah, definitely need one. The question is, who do you want? I kind of like the idea of AD here
I was
because
gonna say AD too.
he gives you that
We like
combination of
AD.
kind of size and speed. And don't sleep on. I don't know if we're gonna have him. I don't know if we're gonna have him going in the first today, but I do think there will be a team that says, Xavier Worthy's the fastest player to ever be in the combine, and
I feel like somebody's gonna reach for him.
I I definitely think somebody could take him in the first round.
Yeah,
I,
I
I
do
don't
too.
I don't think he's in play maybe before maybe this pick ish, like 23 ish, but I definitely could see him going first round. Like I said, I don't know if we'll have him today, but it's important to talk about it. All
Yeah,
right.
no,
I like this a lot.
I like AD too. Even when he was at Georgia and left us for Texas, but even in like his freshman year and obviously sophomore year he got hurt. But even then, I mean, he was a stud. I mean,
Yeah.
I saw something about like NFL GM or like scouts are concerned about him having diabetes or some shit like that.
Mark
So
Andrews has diabetes too, and he's
yeah,
great.
well, I feel like that's just some smoke, so he drops down to
Yeah.
teams back in the draft or whatever, so they can get him. I'm
I
not
do
trusting
feel
it.
like I know
So
we didn't I know we didn't do it today, but I feel like a lot of mocks have AD go into the Bills at this pick. I guess it's the same pick, but I like that fit too. I could see it happening.
yeah,
But
no, I would like that. Somewhere where you already got a quarterback and everything. I mean, I mean, I really like his game. So I hate
all
how
right.
it says wide receiver Texas instead of wide receiver Georgia. He a dog. He a
Hey,
dog.
when he posted his farewell thing or his like announcement going to the draft, it was half and half.
Oh
So
yeah.
I'll take it. He identifies
I mean, he was
both.
like a 3-star. Nobody wanted his ass.
Yeah. Anyway, next pick, Cowboys. I have no clue. I feel like
Lyman,
yeah, it
I
says
kind of feel
teammates.
like Lyman just because then they lost Tyrone Smith and everything, but
Yeah,
you never know with Jerry
I
Jones. Jerry, he just
I agree.
whatever.
Um, if I were to pick here, and once again, this is another one where I was kind of looking ahead a little bit, and my pick was going to be Tyler Guyton. He also went to Oklahoma, so he's in
Yeah,
the
I
the
was actually
line.
eyeing that too. He likes the Midwestern guys.
This guy reminds me
There.
actually a lot of kind of their current left tackle who was a guard, Tyler Smith from Tulsa. This guy is he's very raw. I've heard from the analysts, once again, I'm not a scout, but I've heard from the analysts that they were like, they thought that this guy would stay another year. I think he's young. And I think they were like, yo, if this guy stayed one more year at Oklahoma, he'd be a top 10 pick next year, kind of thing. So I think he's, like I said, he's raw, but he has the traits. And I think Jerry Jones loves taking guys like that. So
Yeah.
I like this pick a lot, and I could see it happening. Up next, we have the Green Bay Packers. Yeah, I don't really know what to do here. Honestly, I
Yeah, we're kind of at the
usually
point where like
and
I
yeah,
don't think
like I
it's
said,
there
every
in hole
pick
for
builds
any of
off
these
the
teams.
last pick, and then you're kind of like, I don't even know what the board's
Yeah.
gonna
Do
look
you
like
think
here.
corner mate? I mean, is
Yeah.
James or Jared? Is Alexander still there? He's still there, right? But I feel like he left.
Oh no, he's there.
Okay. Yeah, and they got Eric
He's there.
Stokes, but he got
He's the
hurt.
high. He's the highest paid corner in the league. Yeah,
Okay, I couldn't remember if he was like
Stokes has
if he
been
left in
injured, I
free
feel like the
agency.
past couple years. But I definitely think corner is a position of need. I just this pick, if DeGene is here, it would be so perfect. Like I even coming from Iowa, like he's kind of close by, I
That'd be the
guess.
dream.
But and he'd just be the classic Packers player. Like he's a white safety from Iowa who can play all over the field. Anyway, but he's not in this mock, even though I think if he's here, ooh, that'd be a great fit. I love that fit. But we got to work around it. I want to hesitantly say Wiggins, but the thing with Wiggins is, like I said, is I like his frame. Pause. But he's really I feel like he's long. He's got long arms and he's really fast. Like he ran like a 4.3, like flat almost. He was super fast. But like I said, that 170 ish. kind of scares me, especially when you're playing and it's real cold. Um, you got no body fat. Do we want Wiggins here? But I do feel like corner's probably the move.
Maybe Kool-Aid.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking that. I was like, I mean, I kind of like Nate better, but in this situation, I like Kool-Aid here, and it's an Alabama player. You know, you always know what you're getting. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to give him too many compliments, but like, you know what you're getting. Like these guys are always solid. He's not going to be awful. So I'll go Kool-Aid here. Why not?
Let me click it.
They won't let you.
Okay,
So,
there we go.
all right.
The books.
Interesting. It's still showing. Did we just brick it?
I don't know. I mean, it
It's
says
still
he
show.
picked it.
Yeah, but it's still
Oh,
showing.
there we go. We're
Okay.
good.
Oh, it's just glitching. Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, this is another almost layup for me, honestly. I would say Johnny Newton's fallen. I don't really know where he would go, but I think he's good. He's a little undersized, but you know, Aaron Donald's the GOAT and he's undersized too. But like I said, Newton's a little undersized. I don't think he would go here. They took geez, what's his name? Kalijah Cansey last year. Or the Bucks did from Pitt last year in the first round. I feel like this just makes sense. This is a good spot for Chop Robinson. He's another one of those guys where I was kind of okay. I was alluding to earlier, if you guys are still with us, when I was talking about like there are guys that are just tested off the charts, and there are guys with production that maybe like didn't test well, kind of like Latu. Um, but Chop Robinson's one of those guys who had like almost zero production at Penn State, but like he's just an absolute freak. So they're kind of like, if we can hone it in, like he could be the GOAT. It's a position of need. They need edge. I think they let Shaq Barrett go, if I remember correctly. And
Yeah.
their other guy, Joe Tyron Trianka, whatever his name is, I butchered that. I'm sorry. They drafted him in the first round a couple years ago, and he just hasn't panned out. So, um, yeah, let's roll the dice again. All right. So here we are. Cardinals with their second pick. We didn't trade for this, did we? This is they have two
No, I
firsts.
think they already had this. Yeah. This is the Texans' original pick, I think. I don't know.
No, but the
But we
ones
didn't
that
trade for them. They had this before.
I was gonna say the ones we I didn't know they had two first. Interesting. All right. Um yeah. So here we are. We had them take Marvin Harrison. I feel like dang, I'm so smart. I was sitting here and I was literally like, ooh, this could be Newton or Wiggins. They need D tackle
I
and
was
corner.
thinking
And
those
then I
two.
look at the team needs and it says D tackle and corner. Big brain. Um, yeah, I mean it's pretty easy. I'd say let's just do one of those. Depending on which one we
You want to
like.
say, oh, I'm kind of leaning towards corner just because of all the wide receivers in their division.
Yeah, and I like that too. And I think Wiggins would do well. I keep making fun of his slender frame, but I'm like, if you get to play indoors and in Arizona, you'll be fine. You just don't want to be you don't want to be freezing out there at 170. Um, all right, so now we're sitting here, Broncos at 28. And Johnny Newton's here on the board, but I definitely think
This point, you
I
got
don't agree with it. I don't agree with that huge disclaimer, but you have a chance to get your quarterback of the future here. You've traded back a little bit to get a couple extra picks. Like I said, I don't know exactly what we kind of forced the trade, but I'm assuming there would be more things involved, right, to make this
yeah,
actually happen. A couple auxiliary picks down the board. And I think when you're drafting any player in the first round, especially a quarterback, you have the fifth year option. So
exactly.
I feel like this pick, I like Penix. Sorry. I like Penix a lot. Okay. But the injuries do scare me a little bit. Um, and I just feel like they keep making the Bo Nix Drew Brees comp in Sean Payton's scheme. I feel like
Yeah,
take Bo Nix here. And
there's always one that slips further than everybody expects. Now,
well, like I said,
I'm having this feeling
Penix's
it's gonna
thing
be
is that
Penix.
Penix's thing is, and if you ask me, maybe I don't think this is that out of a take. I think Penix is probably the best thrower of the football in this year's draft.
Yeah, he's gonna
Like
be.
maybe not the best overall quarterback, but he's the best thrower to me, like out of all these guys. His ball placement is fantastic, if you ask me. Like I was watching some clips, guy doing a breakdown, and he was basically like, yo, Penix, like, is the only guy in this draft that like throws guys open. Like I said, I'm not a scout, but he's basically like he'll throw it somewhere and then the receiver will adjust, but it'll be in like the perfect pocket. Also, I don't know, he's just slinging it. He's a
Yeah.
lefty. He has a weird looking release though, but he throws ropes. Um, I like I said, I like Penix. I don't know if he'll go first round because of injury stuff. I do think someone will probably end up like trading up at the top of the second round um to get him. Like I said, you don't get that fifth year option, but also I mean, Penix is already like 24 or 25, I think. So, I don't know. Do you really need the fifth year option? He'll be like 30 by the time you sign him to
Yeah.
his contract anyway. So, anyway, Detroit Lions. Is this their first pick?
This is.
What do they need?
I
Eh.
feel like they lose a corner? Like didn't somebody like get arrested or something like that?
Oh yeah. Who was it? Was it Sutton or
Sutton?
the other guy?
It might have been Sutton. I don't know.
I don't
But
remember. I
either
don't
way,
want
one of them did. Did what now it would have been nice if we could have flipped the Nate Wiggins and Johnny
to. Yeah.
Newton.
Yeah.
But, you know, we're already here.
Yeah, that would have worked out really easily. We can pretend. We can do a little scratch out when we do the printout. I don't feel like redoing the entire draft.
No, no.
But yeah, Nate Wiggins here would make so much sense. They need a corner. Who's the next best corner if you just clicked on the Ooh. Yeah. I've heard of a couple of these guys. I've heard of TJ Tampa.
Kamari.
I've also heard of Tyler Nubin. It's a little early for Rakestraw and Lassiter, if you ask me. Um, it'd be a little bit of a reach to do one of these guys. But I feel like they need a corner bad enough they'd probably reach for one. I feel like the Lions have a type though, but I do feel like we're getting to the end of this mock and it's getting tiresome a little bit. And I'm
Yeah.
kind of like, uh, I feel like if I were to analyze it a lot more, we could probably come up with our answer. But I don't know. You just want to do TJ Tampa. He's a fringe first round pick. They're probably reaching a little bit, like I said, but that's okay.
Okay.
I don't know a ton about this guy. I'm just being completely honest. I know
Well,
Mel
if,
Kiper
if
loves him
if
though.
you're here far enough, we're switching. We're doing Johnny Newton to the Cardinals, and we're doing Nate Wiggins to the Lions. We're switching it
Yeah,
over.
we okay. Oh, excuse me.
This is our mock. We can do what we want.
Ravens. What are they doing? Did they sign someone in free agency, didn't they? At wide receiver. It says
Uh,
they still need one.
I don't know.
Yeah, this one's interesting. I don't know. Like I said, when we get this far down, who knows? Like, I don't know who's
Think
gonna
they
be
might
here.
need a lineman.
Uh, I mean, there's good linemen at the top of the board right now, which would make
Yeah.
sense. You could never go wrong with more linemen, I feel like.
Either
Who's
that or
their wide
maybe they
receivers
gotta
right
get
now?
Worthy.
I mean, I feel like that could be a team to do that. Yeah, I feel like honestly the next three picks might be wide receivers, to be honest.
Yeah.
I kind of like it. We could have fun and go Worthy here. I kind of like Worthy to the Chiefs though too.
Well, too late. I already clicked it.
Just do it. Yeah. Like
Okay.
like I said, this is cool. This could also be a lineman, like we were saying. What were you saying?
Oh,
I thought you.
I was gonna talk about the next pick.
Oh, go for it.
49ers. Do you think it's gonna be like a Lamar situation where somebody trades in the back half of that with the 49ers?
To get
Go
Penix.
get Penix.
Um,
Like the Seahawks?
I feel like my gut says no, even though I just don't know. My gut says no. My gut says that he's had four season-ending injuries. That's unheard of. Like I said, he hasn't really been injured in 2 years though, which is great. But like he's had four, and like a couple of them were his throwing shoulder, and then he has like two ACLs or something. So I just I
You want
like
to
I
see
said
Johnny Newton goes
I
here or
absolutely
something?
sorry, I'm dying. I absolutely love Penix. I don't know. My gut says he can't go first round because if it was one injury, that's one thing. If it's like one ACL, but like I said, he's had multiple knee injuries, throwing shoulder, and he's old. Like he's like 24, 25 already. I'm kind of like you can't do it. even though I do think a second round pick, anything goes. Like after you're done with the first round, because I feel like most people, it sounds dumb, but like most people pay attention to the first round. Like the casual fans, like they'll look at the first round and be like, "That's the draft." You know what I mean? And they don't care about the rest of the board. But I feel like you gotta, I don't know. My thought process, I've kind of forget what we were. Oh yeah, yeah. I don't think I want to predict a trade here. It's too hard, especially like anyone could jump in here. So I feel
Yeah.
like I'd rather just
I
stick
was
and
just
pick.
thinking of like potential quarterback needy teams,
Yeah.
like the
I
Seahawks,
mean,
or like
Raiders
move
and
from
Seahawks,
Geno. Yeah, Raiders could too.
and I could definitely see that happening. But I mean, Raiders aren't trading up with the Chiefs because the Chiefs aren't going to let that happen. So, um, if we wanted, I just kind of think I think the 49ers. It obviously says they need. I was kind of gonna kind of go against the grain. It says they need all this thing. They need linemen. They need corner, D tackle. I kind of think with the Ayuk situation. Oh crap! I didn't even talk about that. Ayuk. He posted something, or his brother posted something. I don't know that said. It was the other day. It was on Friday or yesterday. He said something like fireworks in 6 days. I think, and I didn't. We didn't do it, but I think draft day trade. He's in contract negotiations right now, and I could totally see one of these teams that we have like taken a wide receiver, you know, to do some sort of trade where they get like Ayuk and a second round pick for their first round pick, something like that. It could happen. And then the 49ers might be trading up to get Odunze or something. That would be insane.
That would be crazy. Imagine.
Anyway, I forgot about that while we ruined the whole mock. I think that could definitely happen, like I said. But like I said, I'm gonna say with this happening right now in our alternate universe, and with the Ayuk contract negotiations being weird, and he seems to be irritated. I feel like this is a wide receiver spot, even though it's not showing up as a team need. But I think if they don't have Ayuk, like who you only have Debo and Kittle. Kittle's getting old. Debo's a little banged up still. I feel like this is a good spot for a wide receiver.
Hmm. Yeah,
You know,
I mean, I guess it would depend if they did the Ayuk thing. I wish you would have told me that before.
yeah, no, I forgot about it until I saw the 49er logo down here at the bottom. And then I was like, oh, dang. Yeah. But that's the other thing is like it's one thing to know like who's trying to trade out, but the other question is like who's trading up and for what.
Yeah.
So I think this could definitely happen. Like I think Ayuk could be a draft day trade. Bold take. I don't
Yeah.
know for who. But in this situation, I'm still kind of feeling like this might be a wide receiver. Like maybe they don't trade Ayuk today, but they trade him in a couple weeks or something. Um, but I like the idea of wide receiver here. You can never have too many. What do you think?
I mean, I see the logic. I think it basically depends on if you sign Ayuk or not. I mean, if
Yeah,
you don't, it makes sense. Um,
like I
but
said, I kind of think the
if you
next
do, I
three.
don't see the vision. But I think it essentially comes down to that. But I could see it. You try to trade up with like I don't know who's some like I don't know who I
That's
don't
what
know
I'm
what the
saying. I'm
new
like,
market would be.
who
But
wants Ayuk? Because like not even
the
assuming if you,
Bills, like,
but if you, they can't pay for him. It can't be
oh
Bills.
yeah, they
Same,
can.
like
Yeah, because they're
they're
playing.
strapped. So
Yeah, there was
it's
the
whoever
Savon deal.
whoever trades for him also has to pay him. So we have to factor that in. And like I said, I haven't done enough research to correctly predict that. It's too hard. But I still kind of think wide receiver. I could also see if the board fell this way that Johnny Newton could be the pick here as well. Um,
That's
I
good.
don't.
Let's
It'll
just
be
assume Ayuk is getting they sign him
yeah.
and they go Johnny Newton.
Okay. Yeah, because I think they lost. I mean, he wasn't that good for him, but they lost Kinlaw. I think he
Yeah,
went to the Panthers or something. I don't even know. He was just never good. He was another guy. I mean, sometimes it doesn't work out. You take a guy in like the top 10, and he's just not great. It is what it is. Um.
yeah.
All right. Here we are.
I think the Chiefs have to go wide receiver.
Oh, most
Have to.
definitely.
I would have said that before the whole Rashid Rice situation. Now, given that,
Yeah,
I mean,
I completely agree. They needed one before Rushy Rice, and now
yeah. I mean, he might get
we both
suspended.
know
I
what
don't
we're
know.
doing. We both know what we're doing here. At pick number 32, the Chiefs running the card. They are drafting the GOAT, Lad McConkey.
Pachonky.
We were mind linked there. I also think I know we had Xavier Worthy
Would
going
love the
2 picks
spot.
earlier. I know we have Xavier Worthy going like 2 picks earlier, but I feel like Xavier Worthy could like just
Tyreek Hill roll.
especially with Mahomes' arm, you know what I mean? Will you take like a screenshot or something and save it?
I'll take a picture.
What a wonderful episode. Okay, we've kept you guys for a really long time, and if you made it this far, comment. Um, I love the 6-0 podcast. It's the best podcast in the
Yeah.
world.
Yeah, we'll probably do another episode with our draft grades. I'd say
Yeah.
well, yeah, and then we'll probably talk about like just our favorite picks and least favorite and all that kind of good stuff.
Heck yeah, we got to
Maybe
use that
what we could
Zoom
do
sub.
too is on
Yeah,
Friday we do a live reaction to the second round. Maybe we'll even do it for the first round. That
we'll
would take
see.
forever though, but
I think I'm busy.
maybe we can cut it up and I don't know. We'll figure it out. But we'll come again, and then we're taking it off, and then when football season rolls around, we're in full swing. We're here, baby. 6-0 is back.
We're in full swing. We're not swingers though.
No.
No. Okay. Oh,
All
it's so
right.
bright in here.
But you know what to
Guys,
do.
it feels good to be back. Tell your friends once again. I'm your host Walker, 1/18th of the 6-0 podcast because we are all the 6-0 podcasts, and I'm gonna update that number every time we get a new sub. And if we don't have a new sub by the next video, I'll cry. I want to
You
hit
don't want to
20
see him
guys.
cry. It's a bad scene.
Yeah, I mean the glasses will stay on, but still, guys, the 20 sub threshold is huge. Oh, did we stop recording? Okay.
Nah. I just
Peace. I'm going to the gym.
All right, go get big.
Bench day.
Okay,
Okay, bye.
bye.